All right, this is a follow-up from our previous video where you had to create a slope of the line using a table given to you. So I'm going to use that same table, and the table's actually right here on this worksheet. I'm using the same exact table. I'm not making anything new. I'm using the same exact table that I had, and I'm going to type that into here. So I'm just going to follow the steps for Excel here. So enter the table onto Excel. I'm going to enter it the old-fashioned way. Like I'm just going to write in time in seconds. So go ahead and start doing this and follow step by step everything I'm doing, and this will be the best way to do it. So pause the video when needed and then continue. So this is going to be distance in meters, and then I'm going to go ahead and double click right in the middle there so I can have distance fit completely. All right, now that I have this, I'm going to start typing in my number. So this is 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. And for this part, I'm going to start with 0, 20.5, 35.6, 58.4, 83.5. And there is a reason why we put the unit in parentheses at the very top for cell A1 and B1. So notice that this is cells A1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, goes to 6. And then for distance, you go B1 through B6. So the numbers, when you type them, if you put a letter next to it, let's say you put seconds here instead, it's going to bounce to the left-hand side. This actually tells you that Excel does not see this as a number. Okay, so that's why you want to delete any letters, and now it's seeing a number. Okay, Excel is actually very dumb. It only does exactly how you tell it or what you tell it to do. All right, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight my data. So let's see it. It's in here. Enter table on Excel, check. So I'm going to go ahead and bold this because we've done it. We're going to highlight the table. When you highlight, you click, right click, and then hold and drag. And you notice that the first cell is not highlighted. So many students keep going. It's like, it's not highlighting. Well, let me go this way. And please notice that the very first cell that you click on does not highlight. It's telling you that that is the first one you picked. It really doesn't matter which one's the first one you picked as long as you highlight the whole data. So now we've highlighted the data, and now we're going to go to Insert and Charts at the very top. So I'm going to make this bigger here so I can see Insert, and I'm going to go to Charts. So here's Charts, and I always want to pick a scatter plot. Okay, so here's my scatter plot. And now this is the part of the rubric that I want to make sure everybody understands. So these are the things that we grade for on the rubric. We want to make sure that you have a title. So this is a distance time graph of I don't know what. And as far as walking, just leave it as distance time graph. It might be of your car. Once you have that title, so that's thing number one, you have to have a title and axes title. So when you click the plus sign, you also want to click the axes titles. And remember on the paper I told you that this axis, the x-axis, belongs to whatever's on the left-hand side of the table. So notice that this is alphabetical order A, B, C, D, E, F. Same thing as when we were creating our table by hand. I said this was X, this was Y. It's in alphabetical order. It's the same thing here, except for now we're using A and B. We're not using X and Y. X and Y don't come in until way past on Excel. So this is A belongs to the X axis. So A in this case belongs to the X axis, and this is time. And later on, it might be force. It might be meters. It might be something else. As long as this is the thing that you changed in your experiment, right? If this is your independent variable, then it's going to go on the x-axis. B is going to be the same thing as the y-axis in this case. So instead of leaving it as axis title, you're going to call it distance. And then the parentheses, I always put in the unit. So this is a point, distance with the meters, time with the seconds, and then your title, distance, time graph. So now you got 3 points out of 6 total that you're going to get for graphing. The way to get the rest of your points, you want to add a trend line. And so I'm going to click here, but don't just click trend line. Go to more options. And on more options, scroll all the way down. Now we're going to think through this one. This I'm going to set to intercept 0, 0. That means that I want this 0 to be the first point that it goes through. And the reason I'm going to do that is because this race tells me right here that it did start at 0, 0. So because the race started at 0, 0, when I go through and create my trend line, which I just got rid of it, so I did this wrong, going back, then I do want this to cross 0, 0. So I want that to be my intercept, okay? And then the other thing I'm going to do is display the equation on chart. And I know on our calculations by hand, I think it was 7.5. But I did tell you the slope is how fast it's going. So here, in this case, it's telling me that it was moving at 10.015 meters per second. And then I told you this is y equals mx plus b. Notice that b is 0, so that Excel doesn't even put it in for you. But the y-axis is distance, so I'm not going to leave it as y. I'm going to type it in with the letter D to be representative of whatever's on my y-axis. And I'm not going to call it x-axis here, just x. I'm going to call it whatever's on the x-axis, so it's going to be time. So this is my equation. Now I can give this person full points. This is a perfect graph right here. So anytime you're thinking, oh, I'm not sure what I need for a perfect graph, come back, watch this video again, do the graph with me,